Bobby Charlton. Well done, Manchester United.
It's a Sheringham, and Solskjaer has done it! Bobby Sarr saved it! United again! Renee! A magnificent goal by Robin van Persie!
Hello, welcome to United Hour, your official redcafe.net podcast on all things Manchester United. My name's Imran.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Ashwin.
And it's a very special edition of United Hour as, well, after yesterday's monumental result in Paris, we thought we'd get the band together just to record about it.
Did we play yesterday?
Oh, apparently it was a game. It was quite nice, I heard. But we were probably going to record after Arsenal, but I feel like if we didn't get our thoughts immediately after this game, it's kind of a wasted opportunity just because of how monumental it was. And plus, none of us have anything to do on a Thursday night that's better than this.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah.
We could have watched Chelsea in the Europa League, but you know.
And Arsenal.
Oh yeah, and Arsenal. Arsenal lost 3-1.
Banter later.
But let's start where all the action happened last night in Paris. Just an amazing game, an amazing victory. United overcoming history by being the first team to ever win back a 2-0 disadvantage from the first leg at home. Literally, I think there's something like over 100 times it's happened in the Champions League and no one's ever managed to do it, and we were the first. So quite incredible.
107 times that it happened before.
107 times, exactly. Well remembered, Ashwin. 107 times, and we did it. And well, Ole did it because literally Ole can do anything, it seems. I want to start by asking a very simple question. Let's go, Mark. In between the time that VAR said it was a penalty and Rashford actually took the penalty, what were you doing?
What was I doing? Crying, maybe? Like fetal, I think is the scientific term. No, man, it was just relief, and like it felt like I said in the thread for the last podcast as well. Like I saw no way that we were going to lose to this lot, even being 2-0 down from the first leg. But they always look vulnerable. They always are good for a bottle job, and yeah, it was just the case of early. It couldn't have gone any better. It honestly, like the early goal, and even though they sort of were quite dominant in the minutes that followed that, after they got their goal, that was it for them. I thought other than us opening up and Mbappe messing up the one-on-one, but man, like when I was hoping that my mind turned, I was thinking maybe Rashford won't take it, and I thought just maybe that like Mason Greenwood might take it or something like that. I was with Rio when he says like, Greenwood, grab it, make a name for yourself, kid. It's like, but man, it was. I'm still buzzing off of it, to be honest with you. I woke up this morning, like I didn't get to bed until like about 4 or 5 in the morning because I was still buzzing off of it, and I woke up only on like 2 or 3 hours sleep, and I'm still fucking buzzing off of it. To be honest, it was just an absolutely monumental fucking night, and what a fucking penalty as well. It couldn't have like. It was the penalty itself, I think, that was the greatest bit about that. She just fucking leathered it against Buffon of all fucking people as well. An English person scored a penalty in a pressure situation. Fucking hell.
But and when Buffon dived the right way for a split second, I thought, and his hand went up. For a split second, I thought he might have saved it, but then he didn't, and I went mental. What time was it over there when the game was on, Ashwin?
3.
Oh,
so
right.
3 to 5.
So you could spend the whole night buzzing basically afterwards.
Yeah, it was great. I had an extended celebration, so it was pretty fun.
Get up the tall boys.
Yeah, got to get out the 22 ounces for that one. It's great. I usually work from home, so yesterday I stopped working at 3. But yeah,
officially or unofficially?
Unofficially. I don't think anybody I don't think any of my coworkers listen to the United Hour podcast, so I should be okay. Yeah,
you don't know our website very well, do you?
But yeah, no. When we got the penalty, I was just like, I just chucked my phone away because I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody right now. I just need to like, yeah, I just need to be by myself actually right now. It was awesome. I'm pretty sure I blew it for all you guys though, because I think my feed was ahead of you, so I just messages just like, get the fuck in. So happy to ruin it for you guys and the drama.
I was watching on BT Sport Online, so I think I was like a minute ahead of just general life. So I couldn't really look at my phone until like halftime or one of the PSG players went down injured. So quite often actually. But so for the when he gets the penalty, I was thinking, should I just look at like the calf and see if he scored or not and save me from this trauma? But I didn't. I stayed strong. But literally, as soon as it was going, because the thing with VAR is, as soon as they go to the monitor, like I think I've only ever seen it once in the World Cup where someone went to the monitor and then didn't give the decision kind of thing.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I think 99% of the time they go to the monitor, they're going to give the decision almost. It seems.
So is somebody in his ear telling him to look at it? Is that how that works?
Yeah, I'm fairly sure it is.
Dallo said handball, and he was like the only United player who said handball. And then the ref kind of must have heard something in his ear and said, "All right, yeah, hang on." And I think someone in his ear saying you might want to go look at this because it's his hand or something, and then he has to go check. But I think I fell to my knees pretty much, and then I think I could have cried. I didn't because I'm a man with man emotions. I fell to my knees and I was sweating so much, and my wife was like, "Why? Like, are you going to have a heart attack?" I was like, I genuinely felt like I could have had a heart attack.
Yeah, maybe.
I didn't. But like, maybe. And then when it went in, I think it's...
Well, there was also like a fucking 3-minute gap between him awarding the penalty and him actually getting to take it. Like, oh man, that was so annoying to watch. Like, he's not going to change his mind.
I was trying to think. I can't think of anything that comes close. Like, so we basically like a good 4-minute wait from him going to the TV to actually Rashford taking the penalty, and all that built up, like, and just a cathartic release afterwards. I'm trying to think of something that's like equivalent to it that we've had, just for the way of, if we score, we go through. If he misses, we're out, and the whole build up to it. I can't, because like a penalty shootout kind of, it all flows like penalty, but I can't really think of anything that comes close to it, to be honest with you. I don't know if any of you guys can.
Maybe like, I don't know, maybe Van Persie scoring against City extra time, maybe. Like, that's the last one I can think of that would have really triggered me like that.
Yeah, that's a good one. But then again, I never expected him to score that.
Van Nistelrooy against Arsenal,
yeah,
the 49 and out game.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
No, yeah, exactly. That's the point I'm trying to make. Thank you for illustrating it for me.
I would go John O'Shea in front of the cop. Was apart because I was in the stadium for the Van Nistelrooy one, and that was mad. And then I was in Moscow for like John Terry's penalty miss. But actually being in my house, dancing around my living room, I think John O'Shea against Liverpool comes as close to just the release that Rashford's penalty gave. That's all I can think of. Maybe actually City Van Persie against City actually is up there as well. It's a good shout. I totally forgot about that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Marcus Rashford. Let's talk about him and the absolute steal of a 21-year-old to step up and take like that penalty at that stage of the game. I think I said somewhere. I think I said in our WhatsApp thread that if you had asked me to get up and walk across my living room, I probably wouldn't have been able to at that point. So how he actually took that penalty, I think it's brilliant.
He looked
absolutely
like he wanted it. That's like, you could just see, even when they were crowding him and they were arguing with the ref, he was not focused on them at all. He was just focused on, let me get the ball down, just looking straight forward. I remember last week watching the Arsenal Spurs match, and Aubameyang going to take that penalty, and you could tell he did not. I mean, maybe he wanted to take it, but he was not confident in anything about it. You could just see it. And yesterday, you could tell. At least it's like, out of the options we had, I 100% wanted Rashford to take it, because I remember he took a penalty this summer for.
He did.
For England, right? And I remember him it was like upper 90. He just absolutely, just nailed it. And some players just kind of, and just like in general, the way he strikes the ball, he just fucking leathers it. And yeah, Lukaku does never, I think he even knows he's not good at penalties, which is why he's okay with, Pogba taking one or Rashford taking one or whoever to take one. So to me, like, looking at who was out there other than Rashford, who would you even want taking it? I just can't think of anybody I would want other than him taking it.
Chris Smalling.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
And I'm kind of happy. I'm actually kind of happy that, just in that very, very specific context, that Pogba didn't play yesterday, because I have more faith in Rashford converting penalties, even though we've very rarely seen it.
Well, he did take one against Derby in the League Cup.
Yeah,
and he
put
that in the bottom corner as well, and that was an excellent penalty too. And then the one for England, and then he'd scored one for the under-21s as well at some point. So I don't think he's actually.
It's a good fucking job Pogba didn't take that penalty for
I
think everyone's
with that run up.
heart.
I think I'd have died.
That might be the only instance whereby the decision to give the penalty and then subsequent clearing of the box would have been less time than the subsequent run up for the penalty.
Yeah, well, we would have had 14 minutes of extra time instead of just the 9. So
9 minutes. Where did that come from?
Because the penalty got given at he went to the VAR at basically the 90-minute mark. So Rashford didn't take the penalty until 93, right? There were 3 minutes of extra time. So at max, you're adding to 6. And even maybe 7 because the celebration and everything. Okay, fine. Fucking 9? What was that?
That was the ref being a sick bastard.
It was he wanted them to have one more chance. They almost had one too.
Just going back to Rashford, and the whole break between the two, I think he's probably the only person that kind of, I think anybody else would have psyched themselves out in that sort of 3 to 4 minutes whereby he was waiting for the decision and waiting for the subsequent penalty to be taken. I think the break, as everyone's emotions are going one way, he seemed to be the only person who had any sort of stake in that match whose emotions were going completely the other way in terms of just how calm he seemed. And even when he struck it, it was just such a clean strike. The break, people have gone on about it, and he kept his nerve. The break probably helped him, to be fair. The break probably calmed him down a lot, I would think. I don't know if anybody else sees it.
I think he just has that mindset in him. I don't know if you guys watch, basketball or whatever, but there are certain guys that just want the ball at the end of a game. And Rashford always strikes me as somebody that he'll always bet on himself. In any situation, which at times leads him to shooting from horrible angles, but in a situation like this where, like you just said, there's so many players that would psych themselves out, and the moment might get to them. But like I said, you just looked at him. He didn't. Even if he had missed it, I don't think it would have been because he was overawed by the moment. It would have just required Buffon to make a really good save. So, he was... Fuck, how old is he? He's 21? Yeah.
21. What were you doing when you were 21? Not that.
Just getting really drunk in college. That's about it. That's about it.
But yeah, it just... And he didn't have the best of games, it's fair to say. His highlight being when he booted a free kick out of play for no apparent reason. No, his actual highlight being the shot for the second goal, which, again, wasn't a great shot. It was more of a mistake from Buffon, but he does have that dip and that swerve that causes it all sorts of problems.
You're right though. He didn't have a really good game before that. I thought that he had a lot of loose touches and he had that one cross that was like nowhere near Lukaku or Young, who were both in the box. He definitely, was not his day, but that says a lot about his mentality. That
it's weird for it to not be your day and you still come out of it with a goal and an assist, though, isn't it? It's like that's just kind of the form that he's in at the minute.
Yeah, and it just shows you like his mental strength at his age that's special. I mean, especially for a young player, like it's hard to deal with stuff like that, and he has that, and that's just like I said. I think it says something. You combine that mentality with his talent, you're gonna he's going to be a great player. He is already maybe getting to that level.
He's one of our own as well. Makes it even better. Because I'm just getting happy just thinking about it all over again. But anyway, yes, someone who did have a great game was big Romelu Lukaku. That's 6 goals in 3 games for him, and I thought yesterday was his finest performance from the 3. I think just everything he did up to about 70 minutes, where he got a bit tired afterwards. Like everything he did was excellent. Like even his touch was fantastic. Just running, he looked quick, he looked powerful. PSG defenders looked a bit scared of him, and then I thought we'll talk about both of his goals, but the first goal especially, like the touches that he made, they were all first-rate touches, and he could have easily gone down, got the penalty, but people just bounce off him, as Ryan Bertrand will attest to. And I just thought it was an excellent finish for the first one, and just a fantastic stuff from Rom, and he's just done a massive 180 really from all the criticism he was getting not so long ago, and now, I mean, is there any way you could drop him from our first 11? Probably not at the moment. Mark,
why would you, right?
Say something nice about Rom.
He's gone from being the first one out the door to being our top scorer of the season in the space of 3 games. Like that's just how quickly this shit turns around, and you just need to look at him to realise what you've got when you've got him on form. He's and I don't want to tread obviously the ground that we all know. As a human, he's an utter specimen. Just as an athlete, he's just absolutely ridiculous. Like, to be that quick and that strong is just he's like a running back. He's like an NFL running back. It's ridiculous. But the best thing about it is that now he's all of a sudden turned into a legitimate 2-footed finisher on top of that as well, whose first touch seems to be getting better, who is quite happy to operate off of the right and be more of a creative forward as well. He's picking ridiculous passes out to create chances and put in great crosses as well. It's like we signed a great player, we signed a great centre forward, but now he's turning into more of just a great, well-rounded attacker, and it's all happened in the space of 2 to 3 months. It's ridiculous what Ole's managed to do with him, and I think he's scored 7 goals or 8 goals since Ole's taken over. Now he's just
must be more, because I think he had a bit of a run when he came into the team when Ole first came in, didn't he?
He had one against Bournemouth when he came on as a sub. He had one against Newcastle, which is again almost carbon copy of the goal he scored last night. Rashford shot, goalkeeper spilled, and then he pounced on the rebound.
And then didn't he have one at home as well against someone? Maybe
was it in the FA Cup? Maybe.
I don't think so.
Oh no, it was against Huddersfield or one of those.
No, he scored against Bournemouth. It was the Bournemouth game, and then it was the Newcastle game, and then he went on a bit of a dry spell after that, and he was shunted out. Didn't
he score against? He scored against Derby, didn't he? Wasn't it Mata and him who scored against Derby?
When did we play Derby?
Not Derby, freaking Reading.
FA
Same
Cup,
team.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
all
Reading,
these championship teams are the same team. They're all Derby.
They're all Derby, and they're all managed.
They're all
Frank
Derby.
Lampard.
Yeah, all the same team, apart from Leeds. Oh,
they're just all managed by Frank Lampard in varying degrees of physical distress.
Exactly.
But no, yes, so 9. Sorry, my mistake. 9.
Yes. Don't rob him of a goal.
I won't. I shan't. Sorry, Rom.
But even against Arsenal, he didn't score. But I think he had 2 assists in that match.
Yeah,
Yes,
that was when he played that
he
excellent
did.
pass to Sanchez.
That pass was
through.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Could have had one to Lingard too against Liverpool. That pass was also.
We should have done, yeah.
He should have had one. He should have had one for Smalling in that game as well.
Yeah.
So he's making it very, very difficult to have any sort of justification for sort of either getting rid of him or more importantly and more immediately benching him. Martial's going to have a heck of a time displacing one of these two if it is to be 2 out of those 3. Martial's got a job on to displace them, which is unfortunate because he was in great form before his injury. So them's the breaks.
You want Martial to come in and have to earn his place and
Exactly.
bang in some goals, and then it'll be up to Rom.
It's like the olden days.
Up to Lingard, up to Rashford to keep going as well. Like that's what we need. And yeah, I thought it was also a touch of class at the end to go to Kim Pembe. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
And I thought that, it was a real touch of class from the man. He just seems like a top bloke, to be honest with you. Every time you hear him speak or every time he's in an interview, sits down, he just seems like a great guy. And kind of feel bad now for just the amount of shit he got. Because obviously, like, he was out of shape, and he even admitted that himself with what it was like demands from the Belgium camp or whatever it was. But he was a bit out of shape. And then you've also got Jose just using him as this target man that he really isn't, like an isolated target man. That's not who he is.
He's a guy that you should be playing in behind defenders and playing on the shoulder.
Yeah.
That's holding the ball up is not his game.
No.
Yeah, he's so much better when he can face up a defender versus when he's got his back to him.
Exactly.
And he's like I think that if you look at him, right, there's like obviously he's got great size, but his best attribute is combining that size, like you mentioned before, like Mark mentioned before, just with his speed and just when he gets going, like. You cannot knock him off. And why you would take such a player and then try to convert him into... Like, all you want to utilize is his strength, which is not even the best part. Like, it's not one of those attributes alone that makes him such a threat. It's the combination which makes him so unique. So it's... And he even mentioned, actually, after the match, that Ole had, the first 3 or 4 weeks he was in charge, he had... set up a program for him to do a bunch of interval training, which I think was probably geared specifically to drop weight and also get used to making more sprints running in behind defenders. And obviously under Solskjaer, we've also been playing like trying to transition way faster. So obviously you need your strikers to make those runs in behind. But yeah, I mean, there's really not much else to say other than just like you mentioned too, his attitude is fucking great. He's just, for a striker and a goal scorer, I think he's incredibly unselfish. It's a very interesting guy. I really, I don't know. I mean, I think that I think that the chemistry within the squad itself is just, I think it's. I don't know if there's really been this like internal strife within the squad, like players disliking each other, even under Jose. I don't ever think that was the case. But obviously when everybody's feeling good and you have a manager who is positive rather than morose at all times, I think you kind of see that togetherness rise. And it's just, it's been, and I think that like some of these, I think players like Delot, you can almost see like this youthful exuberance, and it's, I don't know, it's just like it kind of lifts everybody in a way, because young players don't even know when to be scared half the time, right?
I mean, all you needed to do was go on Twitter or Instagram after the game yesterday to see how together the squad seems, just how much confidence, how much life is filling up, and that's whether you're looking at Dalot taking videos in the dressing room, Joe Pereira in the stands. Loved Joe Pereira in the stands. Incredibly random, but fantastic. And or just Lingard, Matic, Martial at home, going going wild. Even Sanchez and his dog's going wild. Like, just I was watching all his videos after the game, just having a huge smile on my face. And then you watch Cantona's video, and you just think, this is like the best. This is genuinely the best thing ever.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
There was so much to be happy about after that match. Even, obviously winning it, moving on into the quarterfinals is great, but even if they hadn't, gotten the third goal, I think you would have come out of that match and still felt really good about the mentality and kind of where things were with the club and the squad. I just think the biggest thing for me is watching us under a more positive manager that's willing to kind of let them play freer and express themselves more. Is you see how much there's so much fucking young talent or about to enter prime talent in this squad. So many players are just at the right points in their career or growing into top players. Like there's a lot that is good about the squad. We do have there are some very clear deficiencies, areas that we don't have enough options or any options at all. But Delo's, he's 19, and he's come on in 3 straight matches now, and tangibly made a difference in 3 straight matches at not even his natural position. And then Shaw is he's 23, and how many left backs in the world would you take over him after that performance last night and the one against Liverpool?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There was so many great performances last night. Let's talk about a couple of the performances before we get to Ole and other stuff around the game. You could start anywhere, I guess. So, Mark, pick a player, talk about him.
McTominay, why not, eh? Gave him some stick, and then I got some stick for giving him some stick, and then he goes and pulls that out as well, just to make me look like an absolute knobhead for ever doubting.
No, he didn't do that. Don't worry.
No,
you didn't.
Thanks. It's good to be back. But yeah, it seems it doesn't seem right to talk about him without talking about Fred as well, to be honest, because the central midfield guys were both just absolutely outstanding. The entire spine of the side, really. Sort of Rashford was the one to sort of not include in that, but Smalling, Lindelof, McTominay, Fred, and Lukaku and Rashford less so, but obviously he had his part to play. But McTominay and Fred, no one would have begrudged them getting steamrolled. No, if they'd been poor, both individually and as a collective, nobody would have said anything really, I don't think, other than just, we knew they're not good enough and they shouldn't be in this type of environment, and we had all these injuries and whatever, but to put out that kind of performance from the pair of them was just out of this world. Absolutely fantastic. And I made up for Scott as well. You saw how much it meant to him. He wants to make it here, and he wants to make a good fist of it. And I mean, I am now shut up about McTominay as far as I'm concerned. He's shown in the last 2 to 3 weeks that he has the requisite talent to be at this club. It's just whether or not he can produce it consistently, and that's what he needs to work on now. But I have every faith in the coaching staff to be able to get that out of him. Absolutely.
And I mean, he was brilliant last night, and I get tired just watching him. Like the ground he covers,
he's fucking everywhere, isn't he?
He's excellent at committing fouls that are never bookings. They would never be bookings with the fouls he commits, but he commits them. He breaks up the play. They piss off the other team, and then he just runs away. He's like, nope, don't want any of this shit.
He's such an annoying player for other teams. I think Verratti and Marquinhos both tried to get into it with him, and like you said, he just commit this stupid little niggling foul and then immediately run away. And it's like they were ready to run after him, and it just, I don't know. It's he's got a great mentality.
He's like a little Herrera out there. He's just he's just tireless, and that's a very Herrera-like quality. I think that he got away with for his first 2 or 3 years in the league, whereby he would just commit foul after foul after foul, and just because they're only sort of like you say, little small niggly things, and they're never ever a booking. He just kind of makes the referee forget that he's done it 8 or 9 times in the first half or whatever. But he'll have a job on with that because he's about 6'4". But no, I mean, long may it continue, because God, he was everywhere. Just thinking about back to it now.
And he's so strong too. Like he's
going to get stronger. Like he's wiry strong right now, but
I know he got called for a foul on that Marquinhos play, but like he just bodied him. And he does that constantly. And he's also tough. Like, I think he was I think he was able to obviously run through it, but that foul that the rat-faced fuck committed on him, I think he was genuinely, not that it honestly wasn't like a dirty foul or anything like that, but he caught him right when his like leg is extended, and then right after that, like 30 seconds, I think Di Maria fouled him again. And he was like genuinely on the ground. That was right when Bailly was getting substituted, so he had a little bit of time to recover. But he never, I don't know, he just never really, like, even most of the time when he gets fouled, if he's on the ground rolling around, it's probably because he really did get hurt. He's not just putting on to try and draw, like, get somebody booked or anything. And yeah, I don't know. He's, I guess, a bit refreshing in that sense.
And you touched on him, but Fred had no right to put in that performance really last night. Like, McTominay's kind of been building up to it, like, and I thought he was excellent in the Liverpool game, like when he came in from nowhere and was really good. But like, Fred had no place putting in that performance yesterday. There's been no signs of it, really, like, in from the cold, and just again everywhere, putting in some absolutely fantastic tackles, really well timed, good on the ball, like, brilliant. Maybe he has a future here too. Everyone has a future. Who knows?
Yeah. Solskjaer said something pretty interesting about him yesterday. He said that they had played him in his position that he had played at Shakhtar, which is in that holding midfield role. Whereas I think if you look at his games under Jose, mostly he had been playing further forward as like a box-to-box player. And you could see how much better his defensive qualities were in that holding role, where everything is in front of him, versus, in a box-to-box role, you kind of have to be more aware of everything around you, and also, like, I think his pressing tendencies get exposed more in that role because he kind of goes ball chasing, whereas in that holding role, he knows where he needs to press. It's right in front of him, right? So I don't know. I think that a lot of, he's so two-footed too. Like, he was playing balls out to the wing with his right foot, like, so easily. I think there is a player in there. Hopefully we're able to unlock it.
Yeah. And you also touched on Smalling and Lindelof. I thought Smalling, particularly from the two, was a monster yesterday. Man of the match rival with Lukaku to me.
The last-ditch tackle on Will and Mbappe, where he got round De Gea, and he just nicked it away from him right at the end. It was just indicative of that was sort of the icing on the cake sort of moment for a performance which had included a few sort of absolutely just monstrous stops. He has games like this every now and then when he's on that kind of form from a defensive standpoint. He just looks, nah, you're not getting past him today. Just give up. I've been vocal about what I think his deficiencies are and where his problems as a footballer lie. But if you're just looking for a backs to the wall defensive performance and you need something like that from one of our guys, then there's few that do it better. Probably in world football, like when like from an aerial standpoint as well. Like me and Ashwin were saying before we came on air today, there's very few in world football that you would just expect to win an aerial duel. Like he's an enigma wrapped in a lie. He's a cunt.
Southgate was there yesterday apparently, and I have a feeling he might get into. I feel like Southgate might go back on his well-known comments and pick him for the next squad.
I don't think he will.
He was probably just there to watch Phil Jones warm up.
I do not think he'll pick him. I think he's gonna be headstrong on that. I think.
I don't know how you could watch that performance yesterday and think, yeah, that guy, not quite as good as James Tarkowski. I mean, it's good. It's good. But if only Scott Dan was still around. So, yeah.
Give Mickey Dawson a call.
Where's who was that guy who played for Blackburn when they won the League Cup against Arsenal? Roger Johnson. Where's Roger Johnson? He'd come in straight in.
It was Birmingham, not Blackburn.
Was it? That was
Birmingham.
Same team. They're all Derby. Right. Anyway, it was so. I think we've praised Luke Shaw, as we said, also brilliant. Ashley Young had a dreadful first 20 minutes, but I would put that more down to him and Bailly not having a single clue of what they were meant to be doing.
That I think was a collective thing.
Yeah, I think
you could have taken them off either one of those two, and if you'd taken off Young for Dalot straight, then Bailly's performance would have jumped up by the same amount of difference. I think.
I don't know it would have done because I just don't think Bailly really knows how to play right back, because he kept on just drifting inside, and PSG basically had, for the first 20 minutes, PSG had two left wingers. In fact, if you look at the heat map, Di Maria and Bernat, there's not much between them at all. They basically played the game with two left wingers, and Bailly just isn't a right back, and his tendency was just to constantly drift inside. Whereas as soon as Young went to right back and he knew what he was doing, he was pretty much a flawless performance after that. And especially when he went to right centre back, it was probably his best spell of the game. Actually, weirdly, when we went to a back five for the 20 minutes in the second half, that was his best period of the game. Weirdly.
He did that really well against Southampton at the weekend as well. He was really, really good there. Like when he was on sort of like when we sort of shifted to sort of like 3-4-1-2 or 3-4-3, however you want to go with it, or 3-5-2. But he was playing passes out. He was defending really well from that position against Southampton as well.
Yeah, I just thought to give him because the game didn't start particularly well, and their goal.
Yes, it did. We were up within 3.
Oh no! after that, we covered that existed right after that, and we'd probably say Ollie got it wrong in the. I mean, he isn't. Everything he touches doesn't turn to gold, but it does. But sometimes it might turn to silver first. And that was kind of it with Bailly. And the Bailly Young just wasn't right, and he made the change. Bailly, I don't know if Bailly was injured or he was doing that thing where he was limping to save face.
There's no way he was injured. No shot.
Was he just doing that limp because he was like, oh, I've been shit here, let me limp. Then people will think I might be injured.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it was. But the change worked immediately. They kept getting in behind. Like that was their entire plan, right? Was getting in behind on that right on our right and whipping in crosses. And as soon as Dalot came in, that I don't think they really got in behind us to put in dangerous crossing positions at all the rest of the match.
No, they didn't really.
So I mean, it was. I think maybe his tactics were right, but just his starting the choice he made of who to start was probably the wrong one. But maybe it worked out anyway, because who knows if Dalot starts, are they able to get through 90 minutes? Yeah, it worked out.
I can see why he did it, because you don't want to. You want to bring otherwise we'd really only have the young kids
right.
who haven't really had a game to bring off the bench. Like at least you've got Dalot to bring off the bench who.
Yeah, and Dalot, he lets you he's the only option we had available to us that allows you to change shape. You can change your formation, and you're not going to do that with Chong and Greenwood right now. You're just not. It's not going to happen. So, I totally get it. I don't think it's about his form or any lack of belief in him. It's just, like you said, it's just about you want that option. So maybe you are willing to weaken your starting 11 a little bit just so that you have a little bit more juice off the bench.
And fair play to Ole, did the change, and after that, from the change onwards, I thought Ole was superb, really. Just with the way we set up, with us, we basically he picked our moments for when we should go for it and when we should just sit back. And I really liked the change to go 5-4-1 in that second half. Like I just thought it was great. It's exactly what we needed. We absolutely killed. There was that 20-minute period in the second half where we absolutely killed it because we just went to 5 at the back and they just couldn't really get through us at all. And it made perfect sense. Like why if we go for the goal before the last 10 minutes and we get caught on the break, the tie's over. Score in the last 10 minutes, then you've got something and you play. Yeah, it's a risk, but I mean, obviously it's a risk that worked out in the end. So I mean, yeah, excellent stuff from Ole yesterday.
Yeah. And like I think such a difference between him and Mourinho would have been, Mourinho would have just played that out for like 65, 70 minutes before doing anything, and then we would have inevitably shipped another 2 or 3 goals. And then when asked about it after, he would just blame his players for not understanding his tactics or not carrying out his instructions. Whereas Ole was like, look, this isn't working. Let's just make the change now. Instead of trying to wait till halftime or anything. So, yeah, score another one for Ole and, another one for fuck Mourinho.
It's weird as well because, like, Mourinho was famed for sort of making quick tactical decisions. Like he was like when he first came to Chelsea, I remember he took off someone in the middle of the first half, and it was back page news. It's like genius.
He made two substitutions in 30 minutes. It was, I think, the first time he did it.
He's like, well, look, who is this Portuguese genius? And now he's kind of so far removed from who he was when he was.
He's so
younger.
Obsessed with himself being right that he can't even acknowledge now when he's wrong and change the plan.
And the thing is, like, we won the game yesterday with, 20-something, 9% possession, 30-something possession? Like, yeah,
28%.
And we spent a lot of the game being defensive. Like, and there is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with being 5 at the back for a bit of period of the game if there's a point to it. And obviously there was a point to it yesterday. Like, everyone can see the point to it. I don't think there's many United fans who would have been like, oh no, we should be going for it now. Well, they might have been, but they're idiots. Like, there's defensive football has its place, but it's just not everything, is it? And I think
it's not even defensive. It's counter attacking. Like, that's the difference.
Right.
Is that but it's like you say. It's when it's got a point. It needs to be. There needs to be an end from the means. Like, and too much of Mourinho was, we've got 1-0. Now everyone sit back in.
I mean, it wasn't even, half the time we wouldn't even get to 1-0. We've had better counterattacking goals, like more and better counterattacking goals since Ole came in than I can remember for the entirety of Jose's time at United, which is insane because of like his Chelsea teams, his Madrid teams. They were like amazing counterattack teams. So I don't know what is going on with him anymore, but he's, the game has just passed him by, and he seems very, very unwilling to evolve at all. But yesterday, I forgot where I read this, but it was a very, like, Atletico Madrid type of performance from us. Like, very, very, like, yes, we were defensive, but like you said, there was an actual purpose to that defensiveness. It wasn't as if when we got the ball, we were just, like, we were trying to play it out, right? We were just trying to transition pretty quick. Whereas, like, with Jose, it was like, when we got the ball, it was, okay, hit it up to Lukaku, and then hopefully he can bring it down and then bring everybody else into play. And it's like, that's such an inefficient way of playing now. And considering the technical quality of, even our squad players that we have, like Fred, McTominay isn't extraordinary on the ball, but he is, you can play on the ball, he's comfortable on it. He might not do anything spectacular with it, but he's comfortable on it. Dalot, like, you have all these, Shaw is excellent technically. So when you have these players that can play out from the back, just do that. You can still counter in that fashion. You don't need to play hoofball, and that's just that was like you said, it was defensive, sure, but I don't think anybody had I don't see anybody complaining about the approach we took.
Yeah, and So here's a question for you, Mark. Do you think, because I've heard a couple of people saying that PSG lost it rather than we won it. Do you think we deserved to win yesterday?
Yes.
Why?
Damn. Because we scored when we should. Like it was just those types of games are played over 180 minutes. Like it's very difficult to sort of separate yourself out and just say, it's like, right, okay, look at this 90 minutes in isolation and look at that one in isolation, because there's so much ebb and flow within those that it only makes sense to look at it as a whole. For the first 45 of it, there really wasn't much between us in terms of the two teams, I didn't think. And with Lingard and Martial going down, like I think, and in terms of deserving to win it, we had 10 first teamers out, and we got over there and done that to the French champions, and who were probably amongst, after Real Madrid crashed out, who would have been amongst 2 or 3 teams that people genuinely seriously considered being able to win the competition. You, especially over 2-legged ties, you get out, you only get what you deserve, I think. In those, there's very few cases whereby a team that completely didn't deserve to go through ends up going through. I've always believed that, and the fact that we've gone through is a testament to the fact that we deserve to go through. Is it a sucker punch at the end? Yes, absolutely. Is there an element of luck in that? Yeah, possibly. But to me, it was a handball. And no matter what Owen Hargreaves says, you talk about ex-footballers not thinking it's handball all you want. It's not ex-footballers that are the ones making the fucking decisions. It's referees. And if 4 people, as Neymar has said, if 4 referees, people who were paid to make the sorts of decisions, have looked at it and said, yeah, I'd probably give that as a handball, then guess what? It's a fucking handball. Live with it.
Ashwin, did you think it was a handball?
I didn't initially, but the more I saw the replay, and then actually 2 my friends, one a Liverpool supporting friend and one a Spurs supporting friend, they were both like, yeah, no, that was a handball. So, I mean,
everyone is pissed off if they don't get that decision.
Yeah, but I would also be pissed off if that was United that got the handball called against them. I would be pissed off in that scenario too. I don't think it's. I think it's stupid to call it like, oh, it's harsh, because if you watch the replay, like, he sees Delo shaping to shoot, he jumps, he turns, and he extends his arm. Like, he does that consciously. That wasn't just him jumping and his arm happened to be there. Like, he does that consciously. So, like, I don't think it's harsh. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, I don't know. But then you see it a few times, and you can kind of, like, you see the gears turning in his head before Delo actually shoots. And, yeah, I think it was a totally fine call. And while I might be aggrieved if that went against United, at the same time, I think that, you'd ultimately have to accept that's kind of the risk you take when you do. Don't fucking turn your back.
It's hard to have sympathy for him when he turns his back.
He shouldn't have even been on the fucking pitch.
Exactly.
Like, he shouldn't have been playing this match.
No, he should have been, because otherwise he wouldn't have given the penalty away.
This idea that we got lucky, it's like, okay, yeah, of course, there's various elements of luck to the goals, right? Like, okay, Carrera played a terrible pass, but also we pressed and forced him into making a decision. And then Lukaku pounced on it. And also, like, Lukaku totally could have gone down and gotten a red card instead of trying to finish and score a goal. So something he deserves credit for. And then the second goal, okay, yeah, Buffon, you would fancy that he would normally at least punch it off to the side, but he didn't. But Lukaku was the only person that reacted, and he's there to finish it. So,
before you go on, that was a explicit tactic. You see the interview with Lukaku and Rashford at the end, and Lukaku says, "You shoot, I'll follow it in." And it's like we say, it's a carbon copy of the Newcastle goal. It's something that Rashford obviously does, sometimes because he knows that, not because he necessarily thinks he's going to score, even though he probably would back himself to do so, but he also knows that the ensuing chaos, that the way that he can hit a ball, it means that it's going to give up chances. It's like shooting. It's like an ice hockey goal.
Yeah.
So you just put the puck on net, and
someone's there to get a rebound. Sports, guys.
Shut up, Imran.
NFL, NBA, ice hockey, Christ. Welcome to American Sports Podcast.
No, ice hockey's Canadian. And but like yeah, and then what? PSG didn't get lucky. They're not lucky. Kimpembe should have gotten sent off, and then he scored the opening goal in the first leg.
True.
Yeah.
Martial and Lingard. Okay, we didn't create much in the first half of the first leg. They didn't create shit either. And then those two go off, so all of a sudden we had to play Sanchez and Mata, who were totally incapable of executing the strategy Ole was trying to go for, and obviously that's Ole's fault for not adjusting his tactics as well. But that's the reality. They did benefit from that, and then they scored 2 goals. And maybe if they weren't too busy showboating, they could have put in 3 or 4 in that period of time that they were on top. Yesterday, of course they were lucky. Our entire starting midfield was out. Martial is still out. Lingard is still out. Those two are, at least before the injuries, were, they were starting. So that's 5 starters right there, out. How the fuck can anybody say we got lucky? Because what I saw is we had a team filled with squad players going out with a 2-goal deficit, and really all PSG had to do was, be professional. Like, once they leveled it at 1-1, there's no reason they should have lost that match. The fact that they lost just speaks to why they have no character, because they play in a league that does not challenge them. So, they, how many years? The 3rd year in a row they lost in the round of 16. They've never been past the quarterfinals. Like, there's inherently something wrong with how, with just maybe the club, the way it's run. I don't know specifically, but there's clearly a lack of character in these situations. And it's like, I just am shocked. It's like, how you even allow United, with the squad that we had to put out, to be in a position where you could have a handball go against you. Like, it's embarrassing. Now, if we played Barca in the same situation, what do you think would happen?
Yeah. No,
like, they would destroy us. They would just it would be a professional victory, even if they wouldn't even have to get out of top gear. They would just they would just pass it around us. They would pass us to death.
You make your own luck.
Yeah.
Like, how lucky were Ferguson's teams, quote unquote lucky? So the game's played over 90 minutes. You go to the end, and that's what we did. And PSG didn't. And
that's what Ole even said. He said, all I wanted was, let's get it to we're a goal down in the last 10 minutes. Right? That's all you needed. Yeah. And I think how we played the second half was professional, because we didn't come out and immediately go gung-ho chasing for the goal. We had 45 minutes, so we managed that period. And then I think in the last 10 or 15 minutes, we did start to open up and go for it a bit more. And I think that is when Mbappe had his chance, right? Was kind of after we had opened up. So, like I said, they didn't create anything after we made the substitution until we opened up. And if we got lucky, they did nothing about. They weren't unlucky. Let's put it that way. Maybe we were lucky, but they certainly were not unlucky.
I think the injuries we can't be overstated, but how depleted our squad was. Yes, they were missing Cavani and Neymar, but we were missing 10 first teamers, and to go to PSG to win in their ground 3-1 with all those players out injured and with however many youngsters on the bench is just. Yeah, I don't see how you could say we didn't deserve it when you're gonna have to. Yeah, we can't go out. Anyone who expects us to go to PSG and just give them a footballing masterclass in a stadium where I don't think they've lost there all season, or if they have, they've only lost once all season or something like that. They don't generally lose at the Parc des Princes.
Well,
so
it's hard to lose to a bunch of farmers at their stadiums. So.
Yeah, well, true, but so I think to say that I think it'd be harsh on us to say that we didn't deserve it. And I just wanted to say on the penalty, by law it is a penalty. By the law of the footballing game, it's a penalty. So therefore, it is a penalty. I personally don't think those should be penalties. I would prefer it if they were. I would prefer it if they were indirect free kicks in the box, because I just don't think the punishment for it warrants a penalty. And indirect free kicks in the box are fucking great, and everyone wants to see more indirect free kicks in the box. How are they not the best thing? How are they not entertaining as shit? So personally, I would.
You know what I find entertaining?
What?
Winning.
Yes,
So
well,
penalties
yeah,
all day, son.
I do think I still think the Croatia handball in the World Cup final, that still pisses me off, that one, because I didn't think that. I think that's way too harsh to give a penalty when the ball is that close. But this one, at least, like, there was a bit of distance between Dalot and Kimpembe, so that's why I think the referee's fair to give it, and within the laws he should be giving it. I just think the laws, they need to sort out laws of handball a little bit more. But yeah, anyway, I still got a bunch to talk about this game.
Well, I think the funniest part was after that they played one ball into our box, and then Marquinhos jumped on Shaw's shoulders and then tried to fall on the ground and like started complaining for a penalty. And then that's when it was so funny watch. It was just great watching Neymar lose his shit too. Couldn't happen to a better guy.
Yeah, well, I did want to. You touched on PSG a bit. Their knack for bottling it is extraordinary. Like
Spursy.
It puts Spurs in a different league of minor bottling. Like, these guys are the major league bottling. Just incredible. Like, 2 years ago of what happened against Barcelona, and yeah, I guess that time Barca got a bit lucky with some really dodgy penalties and whatnot. But like, for it to happen to them again, like, they've got some serious mental problems in that squad. And the thing is, you just knew, because it's them. Like, if we could get to the last 10 minutes 2-1, I firmly believe that even if we didn't get that penalty, we still might have scored or come close to scoring, or something would have happened for us to win the game, just because it's PSG and that's what they do to themselves. We had a corner, like, we never score from corners. We probably would have scored from that corner or something, just because it's PSG, and they somehow managed to find ways to lose, and it will never not be entertaining. I hope they do it every year.
People always talk about that Barcelona one, but like, okay, Barcelona had, obviously, they had Messi, they had Suarez, they had Neymar.
Yeah,
it's not like, doesn't make it okay, but you can kind of see, like, okay, well, on their day, those three can, they can score 6 goals against anybody, sure. But the one that's the most embarrassing was they lost to City, right? They went out to City in the quarterfinals. That City team was like, they were battling us for 4th in the league that year. They were so unmotivated. And PSG was clearly just a stronger side. And they went out to them, like, I think it was 2-2 on aggregate or something. That's more embarrassing than losing to Barcelona. Like, there's something wrong with them internally. It's not about talent, because they have plenty of talent. I think Tuchel, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think he's a pretty good manager. I don't know if he's perfect, but I think he's a pretty good manager. They don't seem like, they have world-class players at each level of the field. Thiago Silva, Verratti, Mbappe, Neymar. They have these world-class talents. And then it just, they never, like, I think Mark even said it just earlier, but like, every time we went forward, you didn't really feel like, we always carried a threat, I guess is the best way to put it. They never really seemed comfortable, other than when they had the ball. But when we had the ball, they seemed nervy. And that's just something in their mentality collectively. Aside from Dani Alves, who was so comfortable, he was doing keep-ups in the first half. I don't know. I don't understand that squad. I'm very happy I don't support them.
Wankers.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, so I think we're all in agreement now. Ole gets the job.
We're in agreement, like, before today, that Ole gets the job. Like,
if there was any doubt.
Now he gets the job, and, like, I don't know, literally whatever he wants. I don't care. Like, if it's, like, if we need to employ, I don't know, people to constantly give him sexual favours, like, I don't care. Do it. Make it happen, Ed.
I think in a way it's kind of, I think now, because of this, I think everyone just, he's got, it doesn't really matter if the club come out and say he's got the job, because I think everyone just knows it now. Like, everyone's fully aware that he has the job. I'm pretty sure the players are aware. He's probably aware. We're all aware. So I don't think it matters.
It'll be announced. It'll be announced before the Cardiff game.
You think?
Yeah,
At the
Cardiff
end of the
game.
season.
Cardiff
Yeah.
game's last home game of the season. It'll be announced before then. Absolutely.
Probably. Yeah. So, yeah. And just let's round this off in a nice way. Where does this rank? Where does this rank personally for you in terms of like great United moments, great United Champions League moments? Where's it rank, Mark?
For me, this is still. This needs to be put into some sort of context, because although the result and the context surrounding the result is fantastic, I saw people last night on Twitter in the aftermath saying, "This is my generation's '99," and it's like, this is your generation's quarterfinal versus Inter. Like, you need to slow your roll. Seriously, it's like, it's not quite up with the very, very best of nights. It was a fucking great night. Don't get me wrong, but it just misses out on being in the absolute upper echelon of nights for me. I mean, this still had, like, I would still have us versus Arsenal in the FA Cup semi-final replay above this. Yeah, absolutely. Just with the Giggs goal and everything like that. But it's a great result, and the importance of it, I don't think, can be understated, because I think this is a catalyst for a lot of future success as well. Like, I think it was a masterstroke to have that many young kids on the bench, and to have them witness it means now that they're the ones who are able to see is that, yes, we can do this, and this is the way that we beat teams as Manchester United players. The senior players did that for the class of 92 lot, and then the class of 92 lot carried it on because they had the example set for them. And now this serves as the example for those young lads moving forward as well. So in terms of importance, I think psychologically, I think it's extremely important for the future of the club. But in terms of just the great nights, it's up there, but just not quite at the very, very pinnacle for me.
And Ashwin, same question to you. And then what was your highlight of the night as well?
I think for me, so I really only started following United maybe 06, 07, like actually being able to watch matches and stuff like that constantly. So, you know, for me, in terms of European nights, other than beating, you know, Chelsea in the final and John Terry slipping, I think this would have to be the top one for me in that time period since I've been following the club. You know, there may have been, like, I enjoyed beating Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. I think that was 2010-11. But just the way this all unfolded, how depleted the squad was, the fact that we were 2-0 down away from home in the second leg, I think all of that just kind of contributed. The fact that PSG are just twats, you know, that all contributes to, yeah, that was pretty special. That definitely ranks up there. I don't know, in terms of all time, like every competition, I don't know. I'd really have to think about that, because like I think that City match for me is still, with Van Persie scoring off the free kick, that's probably my top one in the time that I've been following United. In terms of, I guess, a competitive match, which with a lot of implications on the line, like I think that would be the top one. But this was special in its own way, and for so many reasons that, you know, I think a lot of it, the best thing about this was there was so much about kind of the ethos of the club being played out in the match. You know, belief, the fact that, you know, squad players can come in and you still believe that you can turn the impossible possible, and then just, you know, so many young players playing and academy players on the pitch at the end of the match. Yeah, it was just, you know, it's basically like, it was like an advertisement for the club. So yeah, it was one of the best, definitely the best European night I've witnessed, I think.
I think just off the top of my head, I've got AC Milan at home ahead of it. I've got the Roma 7-1 ahead of it. I've got Turin ahead of it, and I've got the two finals ahead of it. So in terms of European nights, it doesn't even make my top five, unfortunately. but it yeah, still great. Sorry, Imran.
No, it's fine. I think I can't, like, all these matches in the I find it difficult to rank these things in the way you just have. And plus, when I'm at the ground, it always means a lot more. So that's why like Moscow means so much to me, because like being there and the experience of like the whole day traveling to Russia and stuff, just it's amazing. And like Barca semi-final, again, being there was mental. That 2008 run was just great. So it's difficult, but like just from being at home watching us, this would be like easily the best for however many years, and especially like probably one of the best moments since Fergie left. And like I was trying to think like the Europa League final, because we actually won a trophy that night, right? And I'm not sure I didn't even feel like this buzz after that game, because I almost like I expected us to win, I guess would probably be why. And then so it was definitely the best night for a long time in Europe, and just the fact that we get a quarter final to look forward to now is just fantastic. I can't wait to see who we get. Knowing our luck in the draw, it will be Barcelona 100%. But
post Fergie, I definitely agree with you. It's definitely but although in terms of moments, we've actually had one where the best moment was a Moyes one. The Evra against Bayern.
Scored a goal.
Oh man.
for 60 seconds, that was fantastic.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
So good.
60 seconds of greatness. Hey, Evra was brilliant yesterday as well. Going mad. He's mental as Evra.
He is. Why he doesn't have a job in the club, I have no idea.
I like that they let him in the dressing room. Like, actually, they probably didn't let him in the dressing room. Probably just barged in, didn't he? Probably just hid in Pogba's coat or something.
Probably snuck it in Paul Pogba's bag or something.
Yeah. But yeah, fantastic night. And yeah, just one that I think you'll always remember, I guess, is a big thing. Like even if we go out in the next, even if we bomb out in the next round, the fact that we still managed to do this, like, it'll still be a highlight of our season.
It feels like, I don't know if this ends up being good or bad, or whether just it's representative of how awful everything's been since in our sort of post-Ferguson malaise, but that felt like we won the entire thing.
Yeah,
like in a way, like it was. And as I say, being a round of 16 game against a bottle job, like a renowned bottle job side in PSG as well, it's like maybe it has really actually been that bad. That's the kind of fog that sets in and shits all over your breakfast. But
you say that, but like Barca, like, I mean, they renown that. I mean, I'm sure that I know that they renown their like victory over PSG as like a great moment for them. And they didn't win the Champions League that year or anything. Madrid, in fact, their greatest rivals won it, but they still remark that game as like being a huge moment for them, kind of thing. So I don't think it's.
Yeah.
I heard a couple of people say, "Oh, United celebrating like they've won it." I don't think there's anything wrong with celebrating like that, especially like overcoming what we did and in the manner that we did. I think any club would do it, and we might turn around and say, "Oh yeah, they're celebrating like they won the thing," but they're that's what fans do, innit?
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to not be like too much of a prisoner at the moment, I guess, but this'll definitely be one. Like, when you just got an hour to yourself and you just think, yeah, I'm going to stick on the highlights of that game, and you just start trawling through YouTube highlights, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to stick that one in. You just give me the dopamine, give me the dopamine, give me the dopamine.
We'll probably record. I don't know when we'll record. I probably won't be there, so Ashwin will be there. He's got nothing else on. I don't think. I'm just speaking for him. So yeah, thanks for joining us today on this PSG special. Any last words from anyone?
Always wipe front to back.
That's
okay.
Lovely. What a lovely sentiment. Oh yeah, and just next round, bring anyone on, or do you want an easy one?
I would like an easy one, please. I want to get to the semis. I don't know why, but I would be happy with the semis more than the quarters. I don't know why, but it's just weird. But I would, given how our cup draws have gone this season, Reading aside, I would like an easy one now, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
I would like Bayern. I wouldn't mind Bayern, for obvious reasons.
Yes, that.
I would take any.
That'd be good.
I would take Porto. Obviously, I think Porto is the one. But I really want to avoid an English team. I don't know why. I hate playing English teams in the Champions League. Just there's something about it that's.
Porto, Ajax, or Spurs.
Ajax look good though. Ajax looked really good.
Ajax do look very good, but I think
Madrid are shit.
I think Madrid are just shit.
I think we can. I think we can match them, and I think the Spurs one. It would just be so funny just to do Pochettino, like, just really rub his face in it. Now it's just like, yeah, well, concentrate on the league. Blah 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 blah.
Well, yeah, we're
never going to win it anyway.
But yeah, all right. Thanks everyone, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Cheers, everyone.
It's all right.
Have a good night.
Peace.